Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the, what is it? The 15th of September, 2019. We have a great show for you today. To me, I want to start off with the best news, and that is the fact that Tommy is finally out of prison. And you want to say jail, but it's not jail. It literally is prison.
Tell him the most maximum prison in all of
It's like Guantanamo Bay. It is the most maximum. It was a civil offense that they actually said he hadn't really even committed, okay? But they kind of threw him in jail anyway and then put him in solitary confinement. And the whole thing is just one big joke after another.
It was an accident. It was not like he committed murder. He didn't rob anybody. He didn't steal. He didn't do anything.
Right.
He obviously didn't commit any violent crimes. He asked police if he could even do the reporting that he was doing the reporting on.
I know.
And he was not even jailed for a reporting ban.
Well, and the judge even said to him that she didn't feel that he had done it intentionally anyway. So it was a mistake to start with. So what Tommy said in this interview with Ezra is that he was convicted for a mistake. Yeah. Like, not even like, okay, Hillary's email, she could say that was a mistake. It's not even that kind of mistake. I mean, it's literally like a mistake.
In my opinion, to trying to walk through security with a pocket knife.
And so you get sent to a maximum security prison,
right,
in solitary confinement for that. Now, he has been released, and Ezra picked him up and took him to McDonald's. And it was so funny in the interview. I know. Yeah, I would definitely be doing that. In his interview, he said he's been watching the commercials, and he knew that I think it was the double quarter pounder was on sale and available until September 24th. So he wanted to go and get the double quarter pounder from McDonald's. Yeah, so first of all, what I want to play for you guys is what happened when Tommy came out of jail. You won't even recognize him with the beard and the hair, but the difference is this time he's totally composed. And when he came out of prison last time, he said in his interview with Ezra yesterday that when he was coming out of prison the first time, he thought he was totally fine. And it wasn't until he watched it back and he was like, oh my gosh, I was totally messed up. And that just goes to show you what that time in prison will do to you. So I want you guys to watch the interview with Ezra, and I will put a link to that in the description. But I'm going to play for you what happened as soon as he comes out of jail. Before Ezra takes him to get his haircut and shave, before the McDonald's, he is greeted by these reporters who are pretty much prosecuting him right there on the spot. And Tommy does a great job of defending himself. So that's the video that I wanted to...
I think the squawking is over.
Start off with.
We're good.
Oh, the squawking. Yeah, one of us was going to go outside and check on the chickens because they were like going nuts.
Like hawk is
like, yeah, it was alert. Danger, danger, danger. Oops, that's the wrong one. Hang on. That's you guys. Say hi to yourselves. Let's switch over here.
Hi, selves.
Here we go. All right.
So Tommy's out, and so are the mainstream worms and leeches. Tommy and Ezra Levant were met by this mess from the Daily Mirror. And it didn't take long for Tommy to tell him exactly what he thought.
So I look like a little cowardly convert coming out of jail. Assalamu alaikum. You read their lies. You read their lies. The Daily Mirror lied, saying I was attacked. The Daily Mirror lied, saying I was attacked in this prison. You lied. Yeah, you lied to the public. You made up an entire story, or you're part of the propaganda that's pushed out. My only message to them is, you're a disgrace and embarrassment, because if this happened to a journalist in Hong Kong, if what's happened to me happened to a journalist in Russia, in China, you'd all be up in arms. But because I talk about Islam, you're all silent. You're all complicit in the attack on free speech that we're witnessing. You're all complicit on what's happened to our country. All of the media are.
Well, that's a great point. Right now, there's Venezuela.
I was found guilty by an appointed judge. By an appointed judge.
That's how the law works.
And who's this chippy little bastard?
No, not by a jury. Common law, English common law, says that if you can face over 6 months in prison, you get a jury. I was not given a jury.
Do you think you'd be not guilty if it was a jury?
I know I'd have got found not guilty, and so do they. It's the only offence in the whole entire country, yeah, that you can get taken to prison for up to 2 years without a jury.
Yeah.
Without a jury.
That's how contempt works. That's
no, that's not how
contempt works.
That's not how English common law works. So that goes against English common law. And why was I at the Old Bailey? You tell me as a journalist, why was I at the Old Bailey? 13 murder trials and me for holding my phone up. And I was convicted of
high profile, Tommy.
Because I'm high profile, that's why I'm at the Old Bailey.
Well, maybe it is.
What difference does that make?
Because they know you're going to have all your fans are going to be there.
What difference
and
does
they
it
know
make?
because obviously the security procedures aren't the same as the Old Bailey as they are at other courts.
Well, I've been to 10 different courts over the years. They've never moved me to the Old Bailey.
Your popularity has increased. Look how popular you are.
I'm glad you recognise that.
Tommy, it's really
because
weird.
Your failures,
it's weird to have the media debating with you.
Arguing because they're not media. They are not media. They're not journalists reporting stories.
I've never seen this before. That a journalist is taking the role of the prosecutor. I mean, I like a good prickly question myself, but I mean, of course, I've never seen this except for
question people. It's our job.
No, you're not questioning. You're telling me. You didn't question. You're telling me. But at the same time.
You know, this morning when you came out of prison, I think there was only one other group of journalists there. There might have been a second, but the Daily Mirror was there. And it was remarkable to me. The reporter from the Daily Mirror was not just, I mean, I like a reporter that asks a tough question. That's the only interesting kind of reporter there is. But he wasn't asking you a question. He was prosecuting you. He was telling you why you were wrong and why
like
the system is wrong.
Yeah.
When he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
I mean, he's not well briefed in the facts, but that's fine. A lot of journalists are ignorant. Maybe I shouldn't be shocked anymore, but he was saying, no, this is excellent. You specifically said if this happened in Russia or Venezuela, we'd be shocked. He said, no, this is exactly, I couldn't believe a journalist was exuberant about your censorship.
They're activists rather
They're
than journalists.
But I haven't seen one journalist in the entire United Kingdom, other than a couple of guys at Breitbart, not one at the Telegraph, at the Times, at the Mirror, at the Mail, at the Sun, not one.
Well, my frustrating thing is, you said he was from the Mirror. The Mirror, whilst I was in prison, the Mirror run a story, which actually the governor come in with Ross Kemp with the newspaper to say, and it's front page of the newspaper. And there was this story put out in the Daily Mirror. So the audacity of that journalist to come from the same paper, which absolutely made up a story.
They said that you were knocked out in one punch by a 70-year-old pensioner in the showers. I got that news in Canada. It was front page news in the Daily Express, and I think the Mirror picked it up.
Daily Star, the Mirror, the Radio.
The Star, that's right. It was the Daily Star. And I thought to myself, and you were incommunicado. I mean, I thought that can't be right. But maybe it was, if it's on the front page of the Star.
Front page, the upsetting thing for me is that I ring home and my kids have been sent down. Yeah. So my kids think I'm being attacked in jail, which isn't true. But the other thing is that story's gone out. They didn't even ring the prison. It's completely like, and the purpose for that, if you read the story, there's 2 pages in the paper as well. If you read that story, it paints an image of who I am. It says that I come into prison thinking I'm the big man.
Yeah, they said you walked in with a swagger.
Okay, so I'm going to finish this right here because I want to
finish the story because you were telling. No, you can finish it. Stop it. Finish the story because what you told me was that there were 2 separate incidences where the warden came to Tommy and said, "This is bad for the
image of the prison. This is really, really bad." Like, kind of almost expecting Tommy to do something, and Tommy's pretty much like, "Listen, I have nothing to do with this. Maybe now you'll see."
And even if even if Tommy was beat up, why would he go to Tommy and not the supposed person who hit him?
Right. But I did gather from the rest of the interview with Ezra that Tommy has such a great, they call him the governor, respect for the governor of Belmarsh prison, that he treated him really well. Like, I guess somebody from the health ward had to come and check on him every day, and somebody like high up, like either the governor or like directly below him, had to come and check on him every single day because he was in solitary confinement.
Well, and then tell the viewers how he did have conversations with Julian Assange.
He did, so that was finally confirmed, which to me blew my mind, that I guess Julian Assange was in a health ward that was like 2 levels up, and there was kind of like, I guess, a common area the way that I'm perceiving it, and it goes like up, and so he was actually able to see and converse with Julian Assange. And Ezra asks him, can you reveal what your conversation was? And he says, no, because it was a conversation about a mutual friend of ours, and that needs to remain, kind of confidential, even though Ezra's like, it's not really that confidential because you were yelling it up and down, to each other. But He did say that Julian Assange has pretty much said that his confinement has been really, really hard on his health. And so you could see the empathy and sympathy for Tommy having that for Julian Assange for what he's going through. And the fact that these two incredible people were in the same prison, in the same unit, at the same time, not really the same unit, but enough so that they could talk to each other. To me, it almost feels like fate and the Lord, Providence. You know, I just think it's really, really incredible for Tommy to be able to say, listen, I talked to Julian Assange. That's absolutely
it blows
huge.
my mind, and I do believe that's Providence. Now, what heartened me was, you know, knowing that Tommy's prison stay was better here. Yeah. Tell them about that, how he had more money to spend.
Well, I guess previously he was only given a certain stipend, not the money. He has money. He could, but the ability to actually spend it on canned fruit. Okay. He just wants some canned fruit. I want to say like double or triple what it was previously. In addition to that, he didn't feel like obviously somebody was going to be poisoning his food, because in the other prison, so many Muslims had access to be able to kind of poison his food that was given to him. And this time he felt totally confident to actually eat the food.
The guards were pleasant.
The guards are pleasant. The guard's job, or someone's job, was to come to him every single day, or at least 6 days a week, and walk him to the bicycle, the exercise bike. And he was so, and you can imagine when you're in solitary confinement, like you'll hang on to the smallest of things.
That's what you do. Yeah.
And he hung on to this exercise bike, and he wanted to get to that exercise bike. He got an hour on it every single day. And he said that, I know this is really petty and silly and stupid, but you could tell even in the retelling of it, he's still angry about it. There were 4 days that they forgot to come and get him. And he's like, you'd be sitting there in the jail and you're in your cell and you're just ready to get on the bike, and they don't come and get you. And it makes you mad. Like, cause you're just, waiting all day long. Now he was able to have visitors this time. He was able to have phone calls with his family. And so they were able to get a feel for how well he was doing.
And I think he actually is playing it to be a little bit better than it was, because trying to get to go see him from the outside, right, with Ezra, and people did have a hard time. Yeah. His family did have a hard time getting a hold of him.
Well, he finally got his mail, I want to say like halfway through, and he spent 5 hours a day. He said he read every single letter that was sent to him, and he was so encouraged to just hear the different stories of people that would maybe want to go to the rallies, and they would tell their story about how their family didn't want them to go and what they had to go through, and just kind of sharing in their experience. He said so many people said, listen, I've been following you for the past 12 months, but prior to that, I didn't. But the past 12 months have shown me just how much faith I have lost in our judicial system here in the United Kingdom, that nothing is as it seems. And they are just praying for his release. They're praying, for his safety. Now, I'll end on this, and I want you guys to, like I said, go and watch the interview yourself. But he said that, when he was sitting in his cell, there were lots of times where he was just like, what next? Not really what he's going to do next, because he has a lot of plans, but what are they going to try next?
Here's his first stop at McDonald's.
Yeah. What are they going to try next to do to him? And that's, it's really sad that he should have to process that, and to be thinking like, when he does have another court date, set up. And so we'll be following that. But he has plans. He wants to finish his documentary on Israel Shalom. And that was a guy that was put to death pretty much for reporting, essentially.
And then you said that he wants to kind of go.
He wants to go into towns where these rape gangs are actually happening. He wants to live there for 4 weeks at a time, and 4 to 6 weeks, and have a video crew following him around. And he's going to interview the victims. He's going to interview the families, and he's going to go in and confront these shop owners that are hosting these pedophile gangs, and so on and so forth. And so Tommy is going to need your support, and he's going to need your prayers, because in all honesty, I believe what he is doing is right. And I'm praying that he find Jesus so that he can have a hedge of protection around him as he moves forward.
This from the Breitbart, a little bit extra here. Mr. Robinson said, this should be an embarrassment for the British government, for the judiciary. The judge said it was unintentional, had zero effect on the trial, and would result in a journalist being put in prison, spending 2.5 months in the HMP only, and then 9 weeks at the HMP Belmarsh. Breitbart London reported that the HMP Belmarsh this week, from revealing that the cell Tommy was housed in previously housed notorious Islamist terrorist killer Michael Adebeljo, one of the pair who murdered British soldier Lee Rigby, by running him over with a car and then attempting to decapitate him with a knife. And Tommy Robinson broke a protocol, supposedly, and we don't even think that he did.
Right.
A particular feature of this prison stretch for Mr. Robinson has been the posts and emails he received from well-wishers, the volume of letters being such that reading them consumed 4 hours a day. So this is from Breitbart. Now, what we'll show you here, we are going to go into, obviously, Brexit, but let's show you real quick. Tommy, you did that one. Tommy just, let's see.
I'm standing outside HMP Belmarsh, the prison outside London, where Tommy Robinson has been incarcerated for these past 66 days. Behind me you can see photographers from the Daily Mirror, the only photographer.
So I think that might be
to your supporters who have been rooting for you these past 66 days.
Yep. I'd say it's been, I've enjoyed reading the support and hearing the support. For me, the main thing for this should be embarrassment to the British government, an embarrassment to the judiciary. In the judge's words, so let's pretend I did commit contempt of court, which I did. In her words, it was unintentional. So something that was unintentional that had zero effect on a trial would result in a man, a journalist, being put in prison, spending 2.5 months of solitary confinement in Onley. And this is the crazy thing. I walked into Belmarsh prison and walked out without seeing another prisoner.
But in a way, that was good because
he walked into and out of the prison without seeing one other prisoner.
I know, that's crazy. Well, except for Belmarsh.
Lonely, they would have killed you if they could.
Didn't see him?
No, they would have done. Essentially, the governor here has done.
What I heard from the interview.
I don't have a negative word to say about Belmarsh prison, or any of the stuff.
Other than the insanity that you were.
And okay, so there's that. Maybe Michelle can find this one I just played, and I wanted you to see him. This is just a happy video. His kids don't know yet, or they do. I don't know. But here they are.
Oh, Michelle.
They've grown up so much. So, it may seem like, I think that there might be some viewers that say, oh, Tommy should just save those moments or whatever. Absolutely not. Here's the deal. That's the reason why it's actually really important to share that is because Tommy needs support and he needs the word to get, that's not fake. Those are real emotions. The word to get out there that it's not just some guy that the British government and the powers that be in the world, the globalists that be, are trying to sentence. This is a real man with family who has a heart. And so for his own safety, for his own support, they have to show the, the human side.
Because
exactly.
What you're saying
they paint him as a monster.
What you're saying is that the left-wing media, which is all the mainstream media, paint him as a inhuman monster.
Right.
And he is a human, and the reason he goes overboard a lot, even in the things that he says and does, he's never been violent. He's never gone after anybody.
Exactly.
Words, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may hurt me. I don't know how I got to this place where I listened to this one I watched. You guys are gonna really enjoy this interview. You never know where it's gonna end up.
All right, you guys. God bless.
Was cold, all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid, but you call my name.